Stop me if you experienced this before. In September 8, 1998, or at some point of your life, you turn the TV on to the first episode of Pokemon, aptly titled Pokemon, I Choose You. It went something like this. To many of us in the West who experienced this, at least for me, this was my first serious exposure engaging with a narrative world across different mediums. At 8 years old, many other kids and I could not get enough of it. What we didn't know was by then, Pokemon had already left an impact in Japan years earlier.
私のポケットモンスターと勝負しない?
In 1990, Satoshi Tajiri conceived his first ideas of Pokemon. He was influenced by the intricacies of catching bugs as a kid, coupled with the Game Boy's ability to interconnect with each other. With co-creator Ken Sugimori and mentor Shigeru Miyamoto, they pitched this idea to Nintendo about a game centered on fictional creatures called Pokemon, which people could catch, train, and battle each other. Over 6 years of tumultuous development, the first Pokemon games were released in Japan. Fast forward to March 2017, the Pokemon Company revealed that the official franchise revenue was more than 70 billion. The highest grossing media franchise of all time, surpassing Star Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Pokemon is the epitome of media franchising, but it wasn't the first to execute on its strategies and ideas. Serious conversation of this started with Henry Jenkins, and he calls it Convergence. In his book, Convergence Culture, he defines the phenomenon as the flow of content across multiple media platforms, the cooperation between multiple media industries, and the migratory behavior of media audiences who will go almost anywhere in search of the kinds of entertainment experiences they want. The Japanese equivalent of the term convergence is media mikusu, or media mix. Media mix as a term gained popularity in the 80s, but its strategies can be traced back in the 60s and Katakawa Haruki's business strategies in the 70s. There are 3 intersecting features that define media mix: a deployment of text across numerous media, dependence on other incarnations to sell works within a franchise, and a use of character as a means of connecting mass incarnations. A great read of media mix can be found in Mark Steinberg's book, Anime's Media Mix, Franchising Toys and Characters in Japan. Mark Steinberg believes that one of the conditions key for the success of anime's media mix is a dynamically immobile image. Historically and deeply rooted in manga and electric storyboarding, a dynamic immobile image is limited animation supported by different elements to give a sense of energy and movement. While Steinberg refers to the limited animation aspect of anime, the ideas of a dynamically immobile image rings true for Pokemon games as well. The game maximizes the use of sprites, similar to how anime maximizes the use of still images. Strategies such as voice, segmentation, moving planes, and quick cuts create this dynamism. The limited animation and its visual consistency in character key pose, style, and repetition lend itself well to the concept of synergy. Synergy is a phenomenon whereby the popularity of a text or series in one medium leads to its accelerated consumption in another medium. Since characters are illustrated, they have the same conceptual likeness over time and across mediums, allowing a greater degree of circulation rather than an aging flesh and blood actor. Richard de Cordova, on the concept of body doubling, writes that at any moment one can theoretically locate 2 bodies in one, a body produced and a body producing, and attention to the former draws a spectator into the representation of the character within fiction, and attention to the latter draws a spectator into a specific path of intertextuality that extends outside the formal system. The intertextuality opens up experiences beyond the fiction. It allows potential for interaction. It is this intertextuality that distinguishes Pokemon from any other medium franchise. Pokemon, through its different mediums, communicates with you. In the anime system, Steinberg calls this monokomi, or more literal, thing communication. He explains that the term points to the ways in which communication between media and commodities in the anime system constitutes an infrastructure on which interpersonal communication is built. Pokemon entered the public conscience on February 27, 1996 with Pokemon Red and Green on the Nintendo Game Boy system, a game where people could collect, catch, train, battle, and trade fictional creatures. While initially modest in sales, the game caught on after the discovery of Mew, and the high sales led to the improved game, Pokemon Blue. The concept of trade, collect, and battle further proliferated after the release of the trading card game on October 20, 1996, providing more ways for people to engage with their favorite Pokemon and experiences in the games. With the limited animation in the games and still media of the trading cards, dynamic movement was added, with the popularity of an anime-based series premiering in Japan on April 1, 1997, giving a more contextual narrative and emotional backdrop to Pokemon. Within the same year, manga variations of Pokemon released, such as The Electric Tale of Pikachu and Pokemon Adventures. On April 25, 1998, the first Pokemon Center store specializing on Pokemon merchandise opened. By September 1998, Pokemon, specifically the anime and the games, arrived Western shores. The rest, as they say, is history. In a span of almost 2 years, multiple dimensions of media worked together to create a synergy, where the persuasive power of media in combination exceeded their individual effects. A writer by the name of Ken Tanamichi would call this three-dimensionalization. Pokemon could be read, played, watched, and experienced with anyone at any movement, anywhere, and anytime. Tajiri had an idea when he saw the Game Boy's ability to communicate with each other via a cable. In an interview with Time magazine, he envisioned living organisms moving back and forth across the cable. When asked about why the Game Boy seemed right for Pokemon, Tajiri said it's the communication aspect. It was a profound image to me. From conception, Tajiri wanted to create a world where people of all ages could communicate with each other through different mediums. During a time in Japan when people were apart during the lost decade, Tajiri saw Pokemon as a way to bring people together. But what's more, Pokemon carried a simple visual consistency across all media, and the characters themselves carry with it a narrative world. I want to go back to my opener from the beginning of this video with a YouTube comment from CandomJB, which really sums up a reason why Pokemon is successful. Here's what he said. Remember that very first episode? Reproducing the Game Boy's introduction with this 8-bit feeling, then it turns into an actual animation and the music is enhanced by an entire orchestra. The whole thing displaying an amazing fight between two Pokemon. It was like the world of Pokemon was brought to life, to reality, and in the same time, it was like you were attracted into a fabulous dream.